Finally, let's talk Solo. Han Solo, a Star Wars story. A review, and of course, this is a spoiler warning. We're going to talk everything. So if you don't want to know spoilers, do not watch the rest of this video until you're ready to see spoilers. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. Junkman here. Again, before we get started with this Solo review, just want to say, head over to Patreon, support me, make this YouTube channel better. Head over to StarWarsJunk.net or thatjunkman.com and buy some very cool t-shirts. Now let's get all that out of the way. Sorry it took so long to get the review up. One thing, I wanted to see the movie more than once, and it's just been a crazy weekend. It seems like whenever these movies comes out, that's my busiest time of the year. Don't know, it just seems always to happen like that. So this is really more of my thoughts on the movie, more detailed than my first reaction video I did. Not going to get into the whole story and everything like a review. Just going to tell my thoughts about scenes and things I liked and didn't like about the movie. First off, I'm not going to tell you if I liked it or not. I think many of you probably already know. But the most important thing is my son. I took him, he's 12, and a couple of his friends to see the movie. They loved it, especially him. My son is a huge Indiana Jones fan, and he hasn't been able to quit talking about Solo for 2 days now. And he actually told me last night, he said, "Dad, I think this movie might be better than the Indiana Jones movies." That's a big step for him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say they're better than Indiana Jones. Maybe better than it's better than the Crystal Skull. But that's what these movies need to appeal for more than me. I see a lot of people my age, or maybe, adults fussing about what Star Wars is doing wrong. Well, that's great. But what they need to really capture is kids like my son. This is the age when most people I know that fell in love with Star Wars, right around that 10 to 13 years. So I really love that he enjoyed it. Hasn't quit talking about it. We went out after the movie to try to find a Han Solo, a Lando figure from the new movie. Couldn't find any. But I love that him and his friends really got into this movie. And it just reminded me of going to see Star Wars as a child. And at the end of everybody fussing and fans, toxic fans this and that, it's very nice just to remember, hey, these movies are for kids. And that's what's going to bring on the next generation. The next generation of filmmakers and moviegoers are going to be the ones watching Star Wars now as kids. But how did I feel about this movie? Overall, I loved it. I think it was better than Rogue One, but I had some problems with Rogue One, which seems like whenever I ask someone they like Rogue One, they tell me yes. And whenever I ask them why, 95% of the time they'll say, I like that final battle, and I like Darth Vader. If it's a 2-hour movie and the best thing you can say about it is the end battle, it kind of tells you something. And every time I watch Rogue One, which I like, every time I watch it, more and more, I'm just kind of bored at the beginning. I'm just waiting for that last action. I'm just waiting for that last battle. And I might actually like this Han Solo more than I like The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. Although there's so much going on there, it's so intense, it's hard to really get into it. And The Last Jedi does have that canto bite scene that kind of drags along the movie. Han Solo, the main movie, never has that. So let's get into Han Solo a little more depth. First, I'll be looking at my computer so I don't forget anything. The start of the film, the land speeder chase, Han's land speeder, I loved it. It started off with kind of a joke that I thought at first, I thought it was funny, but I was like, oh God, I think we might be getting the wrong kind of humor with this movie. And that's one thing I really love about this Han Solo movie versus the Last Jedi movie. The Last Jedi movie had a little too much humor. If you watch my first review of that, I talk about how I think the humor was just a little too over the top. People call it a little too Marvel. And I can see that. The more I watch The Last Jedi, those jokes don't bother me as much. But Han Solo, this movie hits the jokes just right. They're not too over the top. And Lawrence Kasdan has a way of working jokes into a film where they feel natural. If you watch Empire Strikes Back, it's a lot of funny moments in there, but everything just naturally flows, like a joke in a movie like this should have. So that kind of worried me when I saw that land speeder hit. That was probably about the only joke that made me question the movie at the beginning. And then we get into the whole Han Solo name thing. Who would have thought? Was it Bob Iger almost 2 years ago probably now? said that we get to learn how Han Solo got his name, and the internet blew up. And I went to defend Bob Iger. That's not what he meant. He just meant we get to figure out how Han Solo gets his reputation, his name, kind of like how Babe Ruth got his name as being a baseball player. But it seems we were wrong. Bob Iger did let it slip, and I guess Disney did damage control, because we find out that Han Solo isn't really Han Solo. Now, this is one of the questions that I think a lot of people upset about. Probably people's asked me what I think about it. I haven't really said. I didn't mind it as much as people might think I do, being a Star Wars fan. I can see where it might upset a lot of Star Wars fans. I don't think it was needed in the movie. I think if he was named Han Solo and that was his name, that was fine. When they did it, I said, I can't believe they're doing it, but I was okay with it. I didn't have a big problem with it, like I know a lot of Star Wars fan does. I know he doesn't really have a family, and it seems, so I'm not sure why he wouldn't use his real last name, but maybe, I don't know much about Han's background. Maybe maybe his family doesn't have a last name or something, I don't know. But like I said, it was a little moment, didn't take me out, didn't change the movie for me. I can see where it really upset some fans. But for me, I thought it was just, how about that? And went on with it. Like I said, I could go, if they cut it out, I'll be fine. If it's in there, I'll be fine either way. Soon after getting his name, we jumped 3 years to where Han's part of the Empire and he's on a battle. I'm not really sure what the battle is that's going on. That's where he meets Beckett and the little alien with the 4 arms. Jon Favreau does the Force, and the girl, I can't remember her name. I'm very, very bad at remembering names, so sorry about that. But this is where he meets that crew, and he knows something up. He knows they're not really Imperial, and I really liked him and Beckett's chemistry right there at the beginning, going back and forth about, hey, I know you're not with the Empire. I know, I can tell by the blast holes on your armor. I love that. And then he gets one of the Imperial officers to throw Han Solo into the pit with the Beast. And, when they're going straight there, I'm thinking in my head, the Beast, I wonder what this is. And for some reason, I didn't even think it was going to be Chewbacca. I don't know why it didn't hit me. But when they threw it in there, and I think a lot of you probably felt this way, I thought, Rancor. We get to see a Rancor in today's technology. Now, the Rancor was great back in Return of the Jedi, but I was like, a CGI Rancor? This is going to be awesome. So we threw him down in the pit, and if you've seen the movie, it's not a Rancor, it's Chewbacca. And I love this scene of them fighting. Chewbacca looks scary. This first time I think Chewbacca to me ever looks scary. He's covered in mud, he's all wet, he's hungry, he's angry, and he starts to fight with Captain Solo. He starts to fight with Han Solo. Now, in this part, Han Solo, we learn, can speak Wookiee. And I've seen a lot of people upset about that too, that it's kind of goofy and silly that Han's going to speak Wookiee to him. But I think it works in this movie. And I don't want to see Han do it a lot in the movies. I know he didn't do it in the original. I don't think there was no need for him to do it in the original. But this one, he had to share a bond with Chewbacca to gain Chewbacca's trust. Once Chewbacca knew he could speak Wookiee, I think he kind of felt a trust with Han Solo. A bond there that Han just wasn't just anybody. Here's a guy that probably, if he knew the Wookiee language, is somebody that probably respected the Wookiees. So I think that went a long way of building their friendship right there at the beginning and getting Chewbacca not to rip his arms off. And I guess does Chewbacca eat humans? I guess they said they hadn't eaten in a couple of days, so I guess you're that hungry you'll eat anything. So that's why I had no problem with him speaking Wookiee. I think it was needed to gain Chewbacca's trust. And I love that scene. Then from there, they escaped the pit. I was like, how did Chewbacca get out of that pit so fast? I know he threw Han Solo up there, but I guess he climbed up, but it seemed like a pretty hard climb even for a Wookiee. And then we'll move on to the heist, the train heist. I love this train heist. Now, second time watching it, it wasn't as intense and as fun as it was the first time I watched it. Believe it or not, when I liked the movie the second time better, maybe because I already seen it. There was a lot of parts where I wasn't really sure what was going on. And that's just me. I'm a little slow sometimes with these movies, so I'm not going to blame Ron Howard or the Kasdans for that, because it's probably me just not understand what was going on with the attached ropes and who's got the cargo, who doesn't have the cargo. That's just me. But I really loved it. It was cool to see this train. I think I've seen that train before in Shadows of the Empire. I hadn't had anybody talk about that much, but I'll try to find a picture of it. There's a train in Shadows of the Empire. It's not the same train. It looks like it's modeled after that train in the video game Shadows of the Empire. And then During this heist, you know, Beckett loses his two guys, a guy and a girl. He loses the female, again, I forgot her name, and the Jon Favreau alien. I didn't see that coming. I was shocked. After it happened, I thought, well, not surprising, because that's all the scenes we saw in the trailer. I thought they were going to have a bigger part in the movie. Didn't expect them to be main characters, but I really didn't expect them to die that soon. So whenever you, in a Star Wars movie, can throw me for a loop, give me something I didn't expect to happen, that's going to get you a lot more points. After that, we got Beckett and Han Solo and Chewbacca. Now, I'm terrible with names. Go to see the bad guy. Is he the Crimson guy? See, I'm really bad at names. He's the guy with the scars on his face. There, Han runs into Kira, who he's been trying to get back to his home planet for. And this is only really problem. One of the problems I have with this movie is it just seems, come on, she just happens to be there where Han Solo is, and then you kind of, okay, I'm going to accept that. She just happens to be there. It's kind of odd in a big universe they would run into each other like that. But then it seems that she knows Beckett too. And it just seemed like everybody right there at one scene knew each other. It was almost like, we got to get these people all together, so how we're going to do it? Well, let's just say they all know each other. It seemed a little bit forced. That's the only problem I have with that scene. And I love this scene of, Woody Harrelson's character Beckett. He's not really sure to tell this guy he lost the train, whatever they was getting off the train. Again, I forget what they called it, that stuff that blew up. Like, if I really need to see this, I need to take notes during the movie, I guess. Or take notes before I make this video. But I love Han's, how he's just so full of himself, and he just speaks up during that so confident. Hey, we'll get what you need. We'll go get it. I love that. So we go from there to, I guess, I'm trying to remember the movie in my head, the Spice Mines of Kessel. Now, we finally get to see the spice mines that we heard 3PO talk about in A New Hope. Finally, it was pretty cool. Now we're going to talk about Lando's droid, the freedom fighting droid rights and all that. On paper, if you told me what happened with the freeing of the droids, I would roll my eyes and say that's just corny, stupid. But it worked in the movie. I don't know why. I really love the scene with the droids taking over that control room and having their freedom. That was a really great scene. But I do have a problem with Lando's droid. I think it seemed like most of her jokes were all about the same thing, and it seemed like it just kept beating you over the head with it over and over. And I did not like the female droid. I forget her name, because it was just like, okay, we get it. You're for droid rights and all that, but it seemed like every scene she was in was just over and over again with that same joke. And they ran into the ground, so when she got shot, died, it was okay. Another nitpicking thing, they're all standing around the Falcon. Everybody's firing at the Falcon, and they're just standing there casual, shooting back a little bit, but how can they not get shot? But that's just something that happens in Star Wars a lot of times. And Lando did take a laser blast to the shoulder of the arm. I was glad to kind of see that, because I didn't see that coming. Kind of a little neat thing. And of course he's all upset that his female droid, and this is where people come in with Lando's in love with his droid. He's pansexual. He's going to have sex with a robot. People read too much into this stuff. Sure, Lando loves his droid. If you're flying around the galaxy and it's just you and your droid, and the droid has a personality, you're going to bond with it. Now, I'm not saying it's a sexual bond. You're going to fall in love, but maybe not like a sexual relationship love, but you will care and bond and care for a droid. You can't tell me Luke Skywalker doesn't care about R2-D2, and he wouldn't be upset and probably crying in tears if he saw R2-D2 blow up in front of him. Maybe the Lando and this droid thing was a little different, because R2 just beeps and everything, and this one really talks, and they probably shared a lot stories, and they probably shared a lot together. So you can kind of understand why in this world of Star Wars, why somebody would really be connected to their droid. I mean, hell, if my phone died, I'd probably cry. So, but I don't think, he's out there trying to have sex with a robot. I didn't get that from this movie. I don't know where these people picked that up at. I think because the co-writer kind of just jokingly said, or somebody just said, that he thought Lando was pansexual, and then the internet blew up. It was just stupid. And then we jump, okay, and then what we have next? The Kessel Run. Finally, after 41 years, we get to see the Kessel Run and find out what happened. I love this scene. Again, he's going to do it, And that's the problem with these. People say this is the problem with these movies, that you know they're not going to die because you know what's coming. You know they're in the original series. But sometimes it's not about how somebody dies. It's about how they don't die. That makes it a fun scene. How they get away. How does he make the Kessel Run? And where they're putting the, see, I forget the names again, the liquid stuff into the engines to blow it up so they can fly out there a lot faster. I love that. And I love when it was so Han Solo's. It was like, let's go, punch it. And nothing happens, and then they start drifting back into that black hole, and then all of a sudden that booster kicks in and sends them out of the Kessel Run. The only problem, if I want to nitpick, is if you watch Star Wars, A New Hope, Han brags about the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, and if you watch Obi-Wan's face, he really thinks Han Solo is full of shit. I always thought that Han Solo was full of shit during this part. So I kind of hate that we know that he's not, that he did make the Kessel Run, and well, we don't know if it's less. He says less than 12 parsecs, and Force Awakens he says 12 parsecs, and this he says 12, and Chewie tells him something else, and he says, well, not if you wind down. I hate that we kind of know now for sure that Han was telling the truth. And then we get back to the planet where they have to refuel these things before they blow up, these canisters before they blow up. The bad guy Ness turns up. And I love it. Han steps out, you know, boom, he's going to take care of business. He's saying, I got a lot of guys down in this Falcon. All I got to do is give them a sign. They're going to come over and surround all of you. About that same time, Lando flies off. Great scene. I love that so much. But then, of course, we learned that Ness is really this girl. It's kind of funny. When she first took her mask off, you know, Han's looking over at Chewie, and everybody's looking at each other, and they draw in on their face. And I'm thinking, who is this? Am I supposed to know this person? I couldn't figure it out to start with. But apparently she's worked for the rebels, or she's at the beginning of the rebels getting them some money, or something to do with the rebels. I'm still not 100% sure if she's a fraction, if she actually works for the Rebel Alliance, or she just works for another team that's going to start up a rebellion. Not really sure. But I like that they kind of put a twist there. Didn't see it coming. I knew the character was supposed to be female because one of the toys leaked it that she was female. Everyone said it was going to be Han Solo's girlfriend, Kara. I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad they went the way they did. So then Beckett doesn't want to help them. He wants to finish his job he was hired for, which, you know, people say he betrays Han, but he really doesn't. He does the job he was supposed to do when he goes and tells Scarface, I forget his name, that Han's going to betray him. And we talk about Han's plan. I love Han's plan. I wasn't sure what he was doing when he opened that container, and I still saw them things in there, those explosive things. You know, it really had me guessing what's going to happen next. But I kind of knew that Beckett was going to turn on him at one time. I kind of saw that coming. But that's the thing. If you check my Twitter, I even say that I'm sure Beckett's going to turn on him during this movie. And he does. But for some reason, I saw it coming, but at that time, I didn't see it coming. I didn't really put it in my mind until they started showing the door open up. Now I said, okay, Beckett's going to walk through that door. We all know that. What I would have liked to see if Lando was in on the plan and Beckett was in on the plan. And then we wouldn't know if Lando was going to walk through that door or Beckett was going to walk through that door. And they could have built some tension right there, because we know Lando betrays him in Empire. So we could have been watching and think, oh God, is Lando betraying him in this one also? So I think if Lando was part of the plan and Beckett, it would have made the scene a little bit more, because there was nobody else who could be with Beckett when they showed that door. Maybe the door slid open and Beckett was already there, but they dragged it out. You know, the door slid open, and you're like, okay, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? But we all knew it was Beckett. Again, if it was Lando or Beckett, and we had to guess in our mind which one it would be, it would have made the scene a little bit more intense. And once Beckett, you know, comes in, decides to take the, I don't know, that blowing up stuff with him, he takes Chewbacca with him. Now I don't understand why the Nest guys didn't stop him there when he left with Chewbacca. Of course, we never saw why. It just hit me as why. And of course, as he leaves, he thinks he's getting away, and guess who shows up? Han Solo. How he got it that far in front of him, get the jump on him, I'm not sure. But what happens? Han Solo shoots first. Yes, Han Solo shoots first. My dumb self didn't even put the meaning behind that until a friend said something to me after the movie. He said, man, Han shot first. I was like, oh yeah, right, he did. Like Dorito thing, he shot first, that's great. And when he first got shot, I thought Lando. I thought Lando was back, and he came up behind him and shot Beckett or something. But I really love this scene of Han. You know, it reminds me of that Indiana Jones scenes of the swordsman. I love that Beckett didn't even have his gun out yet, that he was reaching for it. Han just said, shot him right there and killed him. Loved it. Loved it. And now let's go to the most shocking part of this whole movie. Darth Maul. Who saw that coming? Okay, some of you might have. I don't know. I did not see this coming at all. When she first turned it on, I said, oh, here it goes. They're going to work the Emperor into this somehow. Because I could see a cloak figure. The voice didn't really connect with me. And I thought, because I kept thinking, it don't sound like the Emperor. But it didn't hit me that it was Darth Maul. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, they're going to throw this in there just for the fun of it. It's going to be the Emperor. And I was just curious if it was going to be the same actor. I just wanted to see if it was Ian McDermott playing Palpatine. But then it's not. It's Darth Maul. I was like, I mean, I was actually 100% shocked at this reveal of Darth Maul. I looked up at my friend, his mouth too was about to hit the floor. My son, when I took him the next day, they didn't want me to sit with him to crank their style, but I could look over and see him. And I saw both of them. I saw his little friend, turn and say, it's Darth Maul. And they were both so excited they could not believe it was Darth Maul. Now on Twitter and stuff, I've screamed and cried and bitched about bringing back Darth Maul. That you don't bring back Darth Maul, that you don't rob a Padawan, Obi-Wan, of that first kill. That is stupid, that he splits in half and he falls down there and he doesn't die. I have never been a fan of the return of Darth Maul. The spider legs and the robot legs, I hated it. But I didn't watch the Rebels, so I will admit I don't know much of the story. So a lot of people I know say, oh, I bet Junkman's going to hate this. Darth Maul's in a Star Wars movie now. You can't just say, well, that's cartoon stuff. Now, because it's in the movies. But I loved it. I loved it a lot. I'm so glad this Darth Maul scene was in it. Why is it in it? We'll get to that in a minute. I haven't really talked about the first meeting with Lando, but we'll get into now the final meeting with Lando, where Han wins the Falcon. Now I got a question for all you that might have seen it more than me. Did Han cheat during this? I know he took the thing from Lando's arm, so Lando couldn't cheat, but did Han cheat? Because I know in Empire, Lando says something about his ship, and he says, hey, it's not your ship, it's my ship. I won her fair and square. Well, if he cheated, he didn't really win it fair and square. So I'm not sure if he used that same device that he got from Lando, or did he just have that card somewhere down, hidden out of sight, and he didn't use the actual cheat thing. It was an actual honest game. I hope it was an honest game. I don't want to think that Han Solo cheated to get the Falcon from Lando. Now, we'll go back to that Darth Maul scene. This is what I think is going to happen. Just a theory I had. There's been talk about the Boba Fett movie. Looks like it's any day it's going to get announced. And an Obi-Wan movie. It looks like they're setting up Obi-Wan where Kira and Darth Maul is going to be in the Obi-Wan movie. Obi-Wan maybe is going to come back and get some kind of revenge. And then I'm hoping the Boba Fett movie uses Han Solo. And maybe, Han's on his way to Tatooine, he says, to work with a gangster that's putting together their team. And we all know what gangster on Tatooine, it's got to be Jabba the Hutt. I mean, come on. So I think that'd be a good way that you can kind of do a standalone trilogy that's also separate. It'll be a Han Solo, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi movie that's kind of all three linked together like a trilogy, but yet they're each standard story you can watch on their own. I think that'd be very cool if that's what Lucasfilm is going to do with this. But again, this is just a theory I have. Tell me what you think about it. And some final thoughts. Woody Harrelson as Beckett. I was a little worried about him. I like Woody Harrelson a lot sometime. But to me, and even in this movie, although I love this character in this movie, Woody Harrelson's always playing himself, or seems like almost the same character, or just doesn't really bring anything different when he does a role. It's Woody Harrelson. But he was great. Don't get me wrong, I love this. Kara, I didn't really know much about her. I don't watch Games of Thrones, the girl that played her. But I didn't really like her in that Terminator movie, so that kind of got me she did a really, really good job. I like that, I think, or maybe it's just the way it portrayed, maybe she wants to portray it like this, that I think Han Solo's a lot more into her than she's into Han Solo. I mean, I think she likes him, but I don't think she's in love with him as much as Han Solo's in love with her. And of course we have Chewbacca. Chewbacca. This is Chewbacca. Makes me want to see a Chewbacca movie. I love Chewbacca in this movie, and this is the first time we got an actual really good Chewbacca. Anybody that's a Chewbacca fan and you wasn't happy with The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, hell, any of the movies, this is your movie if you're a Chewbacca fan. So out of Chewbacca, we got, let me not say Danny Glover, Donald Glover as Lando. He does a really great role as Lando. He just didn't have as much of a part in this as I thought he was going to have, maybe. He doesn't really, I loved him in it, but I would like to see more Lando than I got. Again, I liked Lando in this movie, but like I said, he didn't do anything that you really didn't expect. I thought he did good. I just wish I had more Lando. Alden Ehrenreich, everybody for what, 2 years, year and a half, has been screaming that he's horrible choice as Han Solo, and I've been screaming. I love this guy in Hell Caesar. He's going to do great as Han Solo, and did he nail it? Sure, he's not Harrison Ford. Nobody's Harrison Ford, but I loved his portrayal of Han Solo. This is a different, younger Han Solo than we see in the original trilogies. So I wanted something a little different. I didn't want just an imitation. Like some people said they just wanted somebody that could do an imitation of Han. I never wanted that. This guy is excellent as Han Solo. I can't see anyone else being hired for this role that could have done a better job than Ehrenreich did. But overall, I just want to say again, I really love this movie. I'm not sure where it's going to fit on my rank of Star Wars films. Right now, the way I'm looking at it is Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, Han Solo, The Last Jedi, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and The Phantom Menace. I'm going to put that cartoon in there. That's where it is right now, but I haven't seen Han Solo. I haven't seen the Han Solo as much as I've seen these other movies, so things might switch around. Right now, I think it might be a little better than The Last Jedi. But again, like I said, it's hard because this movie is so different than the saga films. And it's more of a just go into it. I don't want to overhype it because it's just to go in it and have fun and watch this movie. That's all. I told somebody on Twitter, this is the Smokey and the Bandit of the Star Wars movies. Don't take it seriously. Don't go in there hoping for a saga film. Just go back there, get you some popcorn, keep your feet up, laugh, and have a good time watching a Han Solo movie. That's all it is. It's a good time, really damn good time. Better time than I had watching Rogue One. Again, I like Rogue One. Didn't love it as much as a lot of you guys did. So I put it above Rogue One, and I'm on that fence about putting it above The Last Jedi. I'll have to see it a couple more times to decide. I've only seen it twice. Well, I've seen it 2.5 times. This is interesting. The first time I seen it, I left the theater that night about 12 o'clock at night, walked right over to the screen next to me showing it, and sat down and watched the last 40 minutes again. I've never done that to a movie. When a movie's over, I skip out of there and head home. This is the first time I ever walked out of a movie. Not just, any movie. I've seen a lot of Star Wars movies. I've never walked out on a first showing and walked over and watched the end of it again just because I wanted to see it again. Plus, I had some friends watching it over there, and I wanted to see their reaction to the Darth Maul scene. That Darth Maul scene. Now, the only problem, if I want to complain about that Darth Maul scene, I don't know why he turned his lightsaber on, but I get why they did it to kind of show us. The whole time I was like, is that Darth Maul? I wasn't even sure if it was Darth Maul or one of his race, his brother or somebody from his race. But then I noticed Ray Park and the guy, Sam Wentworth, did the voice. I said, okay, it's Darth Maul. Whew. Man, I really love this Han Solo movie. I can't wait to see it again. Please, in the comments below, let me know what you think about this Han Solo movie. So again, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Until then, head over to StarWarsJunk.net.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.